Today I prepared a lesson about success and failure.
Oh, sounds fun.
And looking at, I've got an article that I'll send you, but we don't have to read it all. We won't have time.
Sorry.
But there's some idioms related to success and failure. I thought we could try and use in our conversation.
Wow.
Get it up. Do you have? Are there any words in this paragraph that you don't understand?
Yeah, there are some difficult words.
Okay.
Knuckling down. I'm not very sure about this meaning.
Okay. When we knuckle down to something, it means that we put aside other things that that are distracting us, and we concentrate on what we need to do. So I could say that I stopped procrastinating and knuckled down and made a lesson plan.
I see.
Okay.
Thank you. Good example.
Is there anything you should knuckle down to do today?
Today, Adobe Creator some package where I can use Illustrator or Photoshop, lots of things. But
Yeah.
I subscribed it for nearly 4 months, but I procrastinating. So,
Yeah.
but I learned how to use them. So I want to knuckle down
Yeah.
using them.
And yeah. Oh, brilliant. That's a good example. Excellent. Okay. Any other words?
Then fetishized.
Fetishize. I mean,
Fetishized.
in this context, it means that it's something that's become a sort of popular, and in a sort of failure in itself is not something we usually celebrate. So it's become a kind of it's been turned on its head, and it's become something we celebrate, and it's sort of got a strange sort of allure to it. I'll find the proper definition.
Thank you. Yeah, very difficult
Anything
word.
anything else?
And others things okay.
The others okay. Right, I've got a definition of fetishize. So it's to have an excessive or irrational commitment to something. It's kind of like the media have latched on to this idea of failure and keep on sort of applying it, using it in articles, in podcasts, TED talks. That's what's happened to him.
I see.
Let me find some idioms that we can use in our conversation now. When you go back to square one, you've been working on something, or you're in a situation which has developed, and then you discover that it's not working, and you go back to square one. So when you go back to square one, you go back to the beginning again.
I see. Useful.
Can you think of a situation in which you've gone back to square one?
Long time ago, I tried to learn French on my own.
Yeah.
That when it came to the pronunciation part,
Yeah.
really didn't know how to pronounce them by myself. So I went back to square one and tried to find a good teacher.
Perfect. That's a really good way to, yeah. Well done. Okay. And this is another idiom related to failure. It's a bit negative, all this talk of failure, but
It's okay.
what about this one? To throw in the towel.
I guess to give up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watched the wrestling, pro wrestling.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Exactly that. So can you think of a time that you've thrown in the towel?
I throw in the yeah at that learning French by myself. I threw in the towel and I tried to find the teacher, but I just stopped learning it.
Yeah. That's what I did that with piano. I started trying to learn the piano, and I tried, but eventually I threw in the towel and I gave up.
Yeah, lots of things I did.
Have you heard to be a recipe for disaster?
Oh no, first time.
Okay. If something's a recipe for disaster, it means that it's a disaster in the making. So it has all the ingredients to be a disaster.
Oh.
So you could say, I'm trying to think of an example. Right, me trying to run a marathon next weekend would be a recipe for disaster. Because I haven't trained, I'm unfit. There's lots of factors, there's lots of ingredients that would mean that it would be a disaster. So that's the expression recipe.
Okay. It's fun.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, can you think of something that in your life or any, in the news or anything that's a recipe for disaster?
Recipe. For the first time I decided to take IELTS, I didn't prepare for it so much.
Yeah.
So it was a recipe for disaster.
Excellent. Perfect. Good. Well done. Okay, before we go, we'll do two positive ones. So sometimes things come along, which this is a kind of a more positive one. And they are a blessing in disguise.
This is famous. I've heard of it, finally.
Okay. So can you think of an example of something that was a blessing in disguise?
For example, I was not accepted at a company because I did not very well at the interview. But it was blessing in disguise. Because of that, I could find my favorable company afterward.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think that's often the way we see, we see it as a failure, but actually, when we look back retrospectively, it was a blessing in disguise because it meant that we could open the doors in a different direction.
I like this idiom.
And what about this? If to pull it off.
I don't know.
Okay. If you pulled it off, it means you succeeded in doing something. So you could say that I ran a marathon and despite my worries, I pulled it off. It would mean I succeeded in running the marathon. So when we're faced with a challenge, we pull it off, it means we succeed.
To succeed, I see. Very useful. Thank you.
One more, hang on.
Thanks.
All right, okay. There's one for you. Today, Yuki, you knocked it out of the park.
What does it mean? Sorry.
If you knock it out of the park, it means you did really well.
Wow, thank you. I made a lot of mistakes.
No, Yuki, don't. Please, you're not making lots of mistakes. You're really doing well, and you communicate really well. And you seem to. Do you understand? Are you understanding everything? You seem to.
Yes. Yeah, my listening is okay, but when I speak, I feel a little bit nervous, so I cannot speak like speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for being generous.
And you communicate really well, so
Thanks.
yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, so it was lovely to see you.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Okay, and I hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.